Making the headlines tonight. Prime Minister Hun Sen urges Asian chiefs of the National Police to ensure that ASEAN is free of terrorism. Prime Minister Hun Sen meets with Asia Pacific Program Director and Executive Member of the World Economic Forum, Chu Lee, and introduces the One Plus investment concept. Joe Biden sharply criticised Vladimir Putin and leads a standing ovation for the embattled Ukraine people in his State of Union speech. Swang, the oldest sprinter in Thailand, breaks the record for the 100-metre dash and wins all the gold medals in the 100 to 105-year-old category. And the first edition of the Murals of Cambodia Festival is held at the factory in Phnom Penh. This is the Daily Roundup on EAC News Channel. A very good evening to you. I'm Anthony Ellis. Prime Minister Hun Sen urged Asian chiefs of national police currently in Cambodia for the Asian Pole Conference to share information, experiences, strengths, ties, increases regional security to ensure that ASEAN is free of terrorism. He has made an appeal while meeting with Asian chiefs of police at the Peace Palace on Thursday morning. EAC News reporter Darshana Guchan has more.
Prime Minister Hun Sen expressed satisfaction over the work of the ASEAN Chiefs of National Police and expressed his desire for all police delegation members to act as ambassadors to expand relations between ASEAN member states and boost trade between countries in the region. The assistant of the Prime Minister, Ieng Sopalit, told reporters after the meeting that the Prime Minister encourages all ASEAN APOL members to increase cooperation and, in particular, to prevent any acts of terrorism, to turn ASEAN into a zero-terrorism region. The visiting ASEAN chiefs of national police accepted the Prime Minister's recommendation and stated that they would individually make efforts to transform the ASEAN region into a zone of cooperation, harmony, peace, and stability. In more recent years, the problem of terrorism has increased in complexity and thus poses a greater threat to communities around the world, including the ASEAN region. The growth of the internet and social media has resulted in a wide network of global and regional groups, as well as new models of extremists. ASEAN has adopted and implemented the ASEAN Convention on Counter-Terrorism and the ASEAN Comprehensive Action Plan on Counter-Terrorism since 2013. Cambodia assumed the rotating chairmanship of ASEAN on 1 January 2022. On Wednesday, 2 March, the 40th ASEAN APOL Conference was held at the Soka Residence Hotel in Phnom Penh under the theme of Promoting Harmonization, Sustainable Peace and Stability. Darshana Goshen, EAC News.
Prime Minister Hun Sen met the Asian Pacific Program Director and Executive Member of the World Economic Forum, Chu Lee, at the Peace Palace on Thursday morning, where he expressed the views of the non-concentrated investment concept, One Plus, in which neighbouring countries can help solve, and problems face one country in crisis and also help provide replacement work to maintain the supply of goods. EAC News reporter Deccan Nin has more.
While meeting with Ju Ok Lee, the Asia Pacific Program Director and Executive Member of the World Economic Forum, Prime Minister Hun Sen introduced the One Plus investment concept to the Regional Program Director and also drew his attention to the development of the digital sector. Ju Ok Lee congratulated Cambodia on its great development and also said that if there was no outbreak of COVID-19, Cambodia would have grown even more. He confirmed to the Prime Minister that the World Economic Forum will be held in June 2022 and accepted Prime Minister Hun Sen's recommendations to include the concept of this meeting. The World Economic Forum is an international non-governmental lobbying organization based in Cologne, Geneva, Switzerland, and it was founded on January 24, 1971 by German engineer and economist Klaus Schwab. Most of the WEF's funding comes from its 1,000 members companies, which generate more than $5 billion in public subsidies for their missions of improving the state of the world with the participation of business, politics, education, and social leaders to get the global, regional, and industrial agenda. Dekanin, EAC News.
The French and German ambassadors to Cambodia have asked Cambodia to actively participate in internal movement to support Ukraine and condemns Russia's aggression against the country. However, Prime Minister Hun Sen has announced that Cambodia will not support either side in this conflict. EAC News reporter Deccan Nin has more details on this story.
The request was made during a meeting between the Secretary of State of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Siêng Rochavi, with the French ambassador to Cambodia, Jacques Pellegrini, and the German ambassadors to Cambodia, Christian Baxter, on Tuesday, March 1st. The two ambassadors called for respect for Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity and for the immediate and unconditional withdrawal of Russian troops from Ukrainian territory. They both reiterated France and Germany's call for respect for international humanitarian law, the resumption of negotiations, and the peaceful settlements of disputes. In addition, the French and German ambassadors requested that Cambodia not only vote in favor of a resolution that is being submitted to the UN Extraordinary Session of the UN General Assembly, but to also be the initiator of this resolution with other countries as well. The French embassy wrote on its official Facebook page, "In the face of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which violates the most fundamental principle of international order, a referendum is not an option." However, Prime Minister Hun Sen seems to have responded to this request by saying that Cambodia will maintain its position of not supporting either side of the conflict, as the status of the war has now changed and is no longer a war between Russia and Ukraine, but a war between Russia and Europe. At the inauguration of the new section of National Road No. 3, spanning from Phnom Penh to Kampot, held on Wednesday, March 2nd in Ta Keo Province, Prime Minister Hun Sen called Europe's entry into the Russia-Ukraine war the Europeanization of Ukrainian territory. Because of this, he said it was difficult for Cambodia to maintain its position on the war, and thus told the international community not to force Cambodia to support any one side. Dekanin, EAC News.
141 countries, including Cambodia, have voted in favour of the UN General Assembly resolution calling for an end for Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The resolution calls for Russia to immediately, completely and unconditionally withdraw all of its military forces from the territory of Ukraine with its internationally recognised borders. The majority of UN states voted in favour of the resolution, with the except of 5 voted against and 35 abstentions. The vote on the resolution that closed a rare special emergency session of the General Assembly, which began on Monday, and nations took the stage to declare the position on the crisis. I joined member states in expressing concern about reports of attacks on civil facilities such as residences, schools and hospitals, and civilian casualties, including women, older persons, persons with disabilities and children, said UN General Assembly President Abdullah Shahid. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres told reporters after the General Assembly session concluded that the United Nations has an obligation to stand by the voted resolution and lead by its call.
The message of the General Assembly is loud and clear. End hostilities in Ukraine now, silence the guns now, open the door to dialogue and diplomacy now. The territorial integrity and sovereignty of Ukraine must be respected in line with UN Charter. We don't have a moment to lose.
The 5 countries that voted against the resolution was Belarus, North Korea, Italy, Russia and Syria. The Cambodian Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation issued a statement on Wednesday, reaffirming Cambodia's position regarding the Russia-Ukraine war, saying that above all, Cambodia believes all member states must respect their sovereignty, territorial integrity and political independence of other member states. During the special emergency session of General Assembly, Cambodia expressed concern over the escalating situation and the worsening humanitarian conditions caused by the ongoing military hostilities in Ukraine. On Thursday, 24th of February, Russia launched a major offensive against Ukraine. Russian President Vladimir Putin justified this action by saying there was an urgent need for Russia to launch a military operation to determinize Ukraine in order to protect the Donbas Republic and ensure that Russia will not be under NATO threat from Ukrainian territory. The US-led West has responded by the offensive by imposing new sanctions on Russia, and they're also preparing weapons to support Ukrainian forces. The Cambodian Mine Action and Victim Assistance Authority plans to declare 7 provinces in the cities of Cambodia, including Phnom Penh, to be mine-free by 2022, after declaring Kep as the first mine-free province in the country. EAC News reporter Decca Nin has more details.
The dissemination of the results of the study on mine action and sustainable development in Cambodia was jointly organized by the Mine Authority and the Geneva International Center for Humanitarian Mine Action on Wednesday, March 3rd. The first deputy head of the Mine Authority, Senior Minister Lee Tuch, outlined plans to declare 7 more provinces and municipalities to be mine-free in Cambodia. The 7 provinces include Phnom Penh, Prey Veng, Condal, Kampong Cham, Sihanoukville, Ratnakiri, and Takao. The senior minister also mentioned the 4th phase of the demining project in collaboration with the Cambodian Mine Action Center to clear mines in Battambang province. He expressed support for this project because Battambang is a province rich in mines and unexploded ordnances due to being a prominent battlefield during the war. He further encouraged the extension of this project to other provinces such as Pailan. On February 28, 2022, Gai Province was officially declared as the first province in Cambodia to be mine-free after the royal government cleared all mines from the land with the financial support of Norway and Hungary and the Cambodian Mine Action Center acting as the primary deminers. Demining efforts still need to be carried out in mine-affected provinces such as Prey Veng, Condal, Phnom Penh, Kampong Cham, Sihanoukville, Ratnakiri, and Takao. Dekanin, EAC News.
Cambodia has reported 368 new COVID-19 cases, including 25 which are imported. There have been 402 patient recoveries and 1 new death. The total number of Cambodia's Omicron cases now nears the 11,000 mark. The kingdom recorded 343 new community and 25 new imported cases of the new variant, meaning that Cambodia now has recorded 10,931 cases of Omicron, 961 imported, and 9,907 community cases. Cambodia COVID-19 case tally now climbed to 131,372. The death toll stands at 3,033. The number of patients treated successfully since the pandemic reached Cambodia is 125,029. And the tally of imported cases have climbed up to 20,818. Healthcare workers are now treating a total of 3,234 patients. Now look at the news making international headlines this Thursday, 3rd of March.
A Kharkiv National University building and a police regional department were engulfed in flames on Wednesday, 2nd of March, following a Russian strike on Ukraine's second largest city. Firefighters were seen battling the blaze as part of the university building has collapsed. It was not immediately clear if there were any casualties on the strike on the police station. At least 21 people were killed and 112 wounded in shelling in Ukraine's second largest city in the last 24 hours. Regional Governor Oleg Senegovov has announced on Wednesday. The authorities have said Russian missile attacks hit the center of Kharkiv, including residential areas and the regional administration building.
2 Australian states were submerged in floodwater on Wednesday the 2nd of March, as tens of thousands of residents fled from their homes with torrential rains battering the country's east coast. A footage shows communities inundated in Queensland state, submerged vehicles and furniture floating down the streets were also seen. 13 people have been killed, the latest of 4 deaths recorded the worst hit town of Lismore in New South Wales. Since the extreme weather arrived late last week, submerging town centres, washing away homes and cutting power lines. More deaths were expected as police check houses and water rescue. State Premier Dominic Perrottet, who flew over the flooded towns on Wednesday, urged people in Sydney to evacuate if they have given an order by emergency crews. The wild storm Casal has been making its way down from Queensland state into neighbouring New South Wales, and the rivers in Sydney are expected to start peaking on Wednesday evening.
Kharkiv region head Oleg Senegovov has said on Tuesday that Russian missile attacks hit the center of Ukraine's second-largest city, including residential areas and the regional administration building, as Moscow started day 6 of its invasion. Senegovov has said Russia launched Grad and cruise missiles on Kharkiv, but the city defense was holding on. Such attacks are the genocide of the Ukrainian people, a war crime against the civilian population, he has said. Rocket strikes on Kharkiv have killed at least 10 people and wounded 35, reports Ukrainian Interior Ministry advisor Anton Heroshenko. Similar strikes killed and wounded dozens in the city over the previous day. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu has said the Kremlin would press its military operation in Ukraine until it achieves its goal. Shoigu has also said Moscow's main goal was protecting itself from threats created by the West, and added Russia was not occupying Ukraine's territory. Russia calls its actions in Ukraine a special operation that is not designed to occupy territory but to destroy its southern neighbor's military capabilities and capture what it regards as dangerous nationalists.
US President Joe Biden has sharply criticized Russian President Vladimir Putin on Tuesday and led a standing ovation to the embattled Ukraine people in the State of the Union speech that he rewrote and addressed Moscow's invasion of Ukraine.
6 days ago, Russia's Vladimir Putin sought to shake the very foundations of the free world.
Putin was wrong. We were ready, Biden has said in his State of the Union address. Biden stood in the chamber of the House of Representatives for his first formal State of the Union speech, looking to reset his presidency after a first year in office marked by rapid economic growth and trillions of dollars in new programs, but beset by the highest inflation in 40 years and a lingering coronavirus pandemic. The annual speech to Congress gave Biden a platform to highlight his agenda, reassure fretful Americans, and seek to boost his sluggish poll numbers amid the warnings his fellow Democrats could face losses in November congressional elections. Biden's challenge was to show Americans he is on top of the West's response to the most tense period in relations with Russia since the Cold War ended 30 years ago. Russia's invasion of Ukraine has tested Biden's ability to respond rapidly onto events without sending American forces into battle. The crisis has forced Biden to reshape his speech to focus on uniting Americans around a global effort to punish Moscow and support Kiev. Biden has said Putin ignored efforts to prevent war. In a show of support for Ukraine, First Lady Jill Biden had as her guest of the speech the Ukraine ambassador to the United States, Oksana Markarova, who traveled in the Biden motorcade from the White House to Capitol Hill.
She's bright, she's strong, she's resolved.
141 in favour. North Korea, Syria, Belarus, Eritrea vote for Russia. 35 abstain, including China, Iran, India, South Africa, Israel among the 96 co-sponsors after keeping low profile. The UN General Assembly has voted overwhelmingly on Wednesday to adopt a resolution commending Russia's invasion of Ukraine. In the 193-member body, demand Moscow immediately withdraw its forces from the soil and sovereign neighbour.
Mr. President, today we call on Russia to stop its unprovoked, unjustified, unconscionable war.
For the first time in 40 years, the Security Council has convened an emergency special session of the General Assembly, United States Ambassador Linda Thomas-Greenfield has said. The final tally of the vote on the resolution entitled Aggression Against Ukraine was 141-5, with 35 abstentions. The only countries that voted against the resolution alongside Russia were Syria, North Korea, Belarus, and Eritrea, a powerful indication of the international isolation that Russian President Vladimir Putin faces for invading his country's smaller neighbor. Among those that abstained were China, India, Iran, Iraq, Pakistan, and South Africa. Unlike Security Council resolutions, General Assembly resolutions are not legally binding, but they do have clout in reflecting international opinion. After Russia vetoed a similar, albeit legally binding, resolution in the Security Council on 25 February, Ukraine and its supporters won approval for an emergency special session, the first since 1997, to try to spotlight opposition to Russia's invasion. What unfolded was over 2 days of speeches that began on Monday, in which more than 110 countries' representatives took to the plenary podium to sound off on the invasion of Ukraine. Israel also was among the 96 countries that co-sponsored Wednesday's resolution, a step it refused to take last week when a similar resolution came before the Security Council. That decision led U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Linda Thomas-Greenfield, to express her disappointment to the Israeli UN Ambassador, Gilad Erdan. Since tensions between Russia and Ukraine began escalating, Israel has sought to avoid aligning too closely with either side. It is one of the few countries that maintains relatively warm relations with both Ukraine, a fellow Western democracy, and Russia, which controls the airspace over Syria, in which Israel operates to target Iranian proxies. The UN General Assembly voted overwhelmingly to demand that Russia immediately stops using force against Ukraine. It wants Russia to withdraw its military from the country. The measures also called on Russia to reverse a decision to recognize two separatist parts of eastern Ukraine as independent. As results of the vote came in, UN delegates in the General Assembly chamber rose to their feet and applauded, drowning out the speaker announcing the final tally.
Prime Minister Boris Johnson on Wednesday, the 2nd of March, has declined to comment on whether sanctions will be imposed on the Russian billionaire Roman Abramovich. He has said that Vice was tightening on those around the Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Prime Minister Boris Johnson has told Parliament that it is not appropriate for him to comment on individual cases at this stage when asked by Labour leader Keir Starmer why Abramovich, the owner of Chelsea Soccer Club, was not facing sanctions. Be in no doubt that the actions that the British government have already taken are having an effect on Moscow by exposing the ownership of properties of companies, the Prime Minister has added. The vice is tightening on the Putin regime, and it will continue to tighten. Johnson has also said he believes the actions of Putin towards Ukraine already qualified as a war crime. What we have seen already from Vladimir Putin's regime in the use of the munitions that have already been dropping on innocent civilians, in my view, already fully qualifies as a war crime, Johnson told Parliament after being asked by Ian Blackford, the leader of the Scottish National Party, about supporting the International Criminal Court, prosecution of the Russian president's crimes of aggression against the peoples of Ukraine. At the start of Prime Minister's question time session, Ukraine's ambassador to Britain has received a standing ovation from lawmakers in the House of Commons, who applauded him as he watched proceedings from the public gallery.
Today, the Disasters and Emergency Committee is launching its Ukraine appeal, and every pound donated by the British people will be matched by the government, starting with £20 million.
Yeah. Mr. Speaker, Roman Abramovich is the owner of Chelsea Football Club and various other high-value assets in the United Kingdom. He's a person of interest to the Home Office because of his links to the Russian state and his public association with corrupt activity and practices. Last week, the Prime Minister said that Abramovich is facing sanctions. He later corrected the record to say that he isn't. Well, why on earth isn't he?
After the break, a look at all the latest sports news.
If it's happening and you need to know about it, you'll get it all right here. EAC News brings you updates and breaking news in English across all of our platforms and channels. The EAC News app, YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and our website www.eacnews.asia. Join me and the rest of the EAC News team every day on your favorite channels. EAC News, Cambodia made clear.
Russian businessman Roman Abramovich said on Wednesday he would sell Chelsea Football Club 19 years after buying it and selling the team on the path of sporting glory, and promised to donate the money for the sale to help the victims of the war in Ukraine.
To the Leader of the Opposition, the Right Honourable Keir Starmer.
Amid growing calls for Abramovich to be hit by sanctions after Russia's invasion of its neighbor, the metals magnate said in a statement that a sale was in the best interest of the reigning European and world soccer champions. In the current situation, I have therefore taken the decision to sell the club, as I believe this is in the best interest of the club, the fans, the employees, as well as the club's sponsors and partners, he said. Abramovich said he would not ask for loans he has made to the Premier League club, reported to total £1.5 billion or $2 billion, to be repaid to him, and the sale would not be fast-tracked. He has told his aides to set up a charitable foundation that will receive all net proceeds from the sale. The foundation will be for the benefit of all victims of the war in Ukraine, Abramovich said in a statement. This includes providing critical funds toward the urgent and immediate needs of victims, as well as supporting the long-term work of recovery. Swiss business tycoon Hans-Jörg Wyss told a newspaper that he was considering buying Chelsea from Abramovich, who over the weekend said he was stepping back from running the club but made no mention of any plans to change its ownership. Abramovich, who is currently trying to sell all his villas in England, he also wants to get rid of Chelsea quickly now. I, along with 3 other people, received an offer on Tuesday to buy Chelsea from Abramovich. Blick quoted Wyss as saying in an interview published on Wednesday. Abramovich bought the West London club in 2003 for a reported £140 million, and his investment contributed hugely to the most successful era in the team's history, as they won 5 Premier League titles, 5 FA Cups, and the Champions League twice. His purchase of the club helped transform the landscape of English football, with Chelsea breaking the stranglehold of Manchester United, Arsenal, and Liverpool. They beat Brazilian side Palmeiras last month to become FIFA Club World Cup champions for the first time, having defeated Manchester City to become European champions last season. A seismic moment was how BBC presenter and former England striker Gary Lineker described the announcement ahead of coverage of Chelsea FA Cup 5th round tie at Luton Town. Chelsea fans at Kenilworth Road chanted the Russian's name before kickoff. Abramovich said that the decision to sell had been incredibly difficult. I hope that I will be able to visit Stamford Bridge one last time to say goodbye to all of you in person, he said. Abramovich turned his back on life in London in 2018 when the British government delayed renewing his visa following the attempted assassination of a former Russian double agent in England, which it blamed on Moscow. It has been a privilege of a lifetime to be part of Chelsea FC, and I am proud of all our joint achievements, he said. Chelsea Football Clubs and its supporters will always be in my heart.
Sawang is known as being the oldest sprinter in the Southeast Asian country and has participated 4 times in annual Thailand Masters Athlete Championships, particularly in the 100-metre dash, javelin and discus events. Sawang runs 100 metres in 27.8 seconds. What a champ.
Last weekend, at the championship 26th iteration held in southwestern Samut Songkhram province, he won all the gold medals in the 100 to 105 years category, as he has outlived all rivals in that age range. Getting into sports made me strong and well. As well as this, exercising helps improve your appetite so you eat well too, Sawang says when asked about the secret to his longevity. Sawang's everyday routine includes daily walks with his 70-year-old daughter, Siripan, in simple house chores like sweeping up fallen leaves in their garden. But the centenarian ramped this up ahead of the games, training twice a day for a week at a local stadium with his daughter. My father always has positive thoughts, so he is in great mental health condition. In terms of physical health, he was gotten much stronger, Siripan says. The training paid off. Sawang's time for the 100-meter sprint this year was a personal best and new tie record for his age group. Usain Bolt, who holds the only current world record, ran in it 9.58 seconds in 2009. As silent society ages, the number of participants in the senior category has grown, says Wiwat Bigrantunurus, president of Asia Masters Athletics. When the Silent Master Athletes Championships started in 1996, there were only about 300 participants. Today, there are over 2,000, their ages ranging from 35 to 102 years. As you can see, everybody who's here to compete has all forgotten about their ages. Once they forgot about their ages, they are happy, Wiwat said.
Dressed in Ukraine's blue and gold colours, a fired-up Elena Svitolina thrashed Russian Anastasia Potapova in Mexico on Tuesday and said it was her mission to unite the tennis world behind her countries following Russia's invasion.
Svitolina had initially refused to play her opening match against Potapova at the Monterrey Open, but went ahead after tennis authorities decided to ban Russian and Belarusian players from competing under the name and flag of their countries. That decision followed Russia's invasion of Ukraine last week, which Russia calls a special operation. Belarus has been a key staging area for the invasion.
I'm in a very sad mood, but I'm happy that I'm here playing tennis here. So it's nice to play in front of you. Thank you. I was just focused from the beginning. For me, it was very important to be ready for anything what comes my way, to be all the time moving my legs and serving well. I think I served really good today. And in general, I was just focused. I was on the mission for my country. Yes, it's a very, very special event, this one for me. All the prize money that I'm going to earn here is going to the Ukrainian army, so thank you so much for the support.
Svitolina defeated Potapova 6-2, 6-1, thumping her chest repeatedly on the court. The players exchanged a few words at the net after the match, before Svitolina showed her appreciation for the support from the crowd. Television graphics had a blank space next to where Potapova's flag and the country normally would have been. In Lyon on Tuesday, fellow Ukrainian Diana Yastremska collapsed in a heap on court after her victory over Romanian Anna Bogdan at the WTA 250 tournament. The 21-year-old and her younger sister had spent 2 nights in an underground car park last week before their parents sent them out of Ukraine by boat to Romania and then safely to France. "I'm happy that I won for my country, but at the same time, I'm very sad," said Yastremska, who wrapped herself in a Ukrainian flag after her 3-6, 7-6, 7-6 victory. She said, "My heart stays at home and my mind is fighting here, so it's very difficult to find the concentration, to find the balance." She continued, "This win, compared to what's going on in my country, is nothing, but I'm happy at least. I'm also fighting for my country. I'm really proud of the Ukrainians and they're really heroes. I hope everything is going to finish soon."
Now let's have a look at the weather and what you can expect tomorrow. Last weekend, Funky and FT Galleries celebrated the first edition of the Murals of the Cambodian Festival at the Factory Phnom Penh. This festival unveiled 9 new larger-than-life murals painted by local and international artists from 8 different countries. The EAC News team went to the festival to explore the art and learn more about the event. EAC News reporter Deccan Nin will tell you more about it.
Canadian-born Cambodian Funky says he was exposed to many festivals throughout his life, which had a strong impact on his career as a painter, graffiti artist, and muralist. He said he wanted to create the Murals for Cambodia Festival as a platform for local and international artists to exchange and share their creativity. He says this festival has been a dream of his for 10 years and counting.
Yeah, we're super happy because for this first edition, it was like last minute, the country opened, so I made a few calls. Did a good partnership with Tiger because of the Year of the Tiger, and we have 10 artists actually lined up for the mural artists this year, and we penned like flat 5. So we have, for example, he's Kim San who it's his first mural ever. Wow. But he's like a highly talented artist, Khmer artist who does oil painting, so rich. So it's cool also to do a variety of medium. Him to be exposed with, we have Tones who's Khmer. From Switzerland, but he's in our world of graffiti. He's a legend. He just painted something for the Prince of Monaco recently, Foundation. He travels all around the world, and I say, hey, Bong, come back to the kingdom. It's blowing. We have a good playground. So we have him. We have Moy and Nap from Thailand, for specialties to paint animals. So that's why I'm like in the Croatian Year of the Tiger. I didn't want it to be too corporate, and that was cool when you have that thin line between branding and art. So it was a good partnership. It is a good partnership with Tiger. And with our partners at Factory, at Urban Village, it's a good playground. So Moy and Nap from MSV Crew from Thailand. We have Riza, another Khmer from Holland, who's decided to live here since the pandemic. He used to come every year. We have Mike YSK, who has a calligraphy, first calligrapher of who incorporates like sort of the Khmer script, but through calligraphy. And I know him since he's like 17 years old, 7 years ago. So he's the first born and raised generation of like street artists, and now he's a tattoo artist. We have Vanks, he's a all city, pure graffiti homie. We have, who else? We have JB Carraro, a good partner who did the whole logo. He's our partner in terms of graphism, the graphic design, the brand image of Murals for Cambodia, but he's a really dope artist from Cambodia based here. So even, you know, the logo, everything has to be a partnership and a touch of art to add some soul in it and not just hire you to do this or that, right? And we were supposed to have Imagine, the only one who couldn't make it because of COVID. She got trapped in Nepal, but she came 2 times already here. She's a legend and she does like Nepali script. She did a mural here already, but next time we'll do some more and we'll do a lot of festival mission.
Twoon from Japan is also a featured artist. In addition to the murals, FT Gallery also has a new exhibition which officially opened during the weekend of the event. The 3 concerts that took place every night included artists such as 2M Dai, Sochita, Isame Siva, Nikki, Cash Rules, DJ Maritaj, and other artists from Clap Your Hands and Badamai Production, as well as a few independent artists. The fairgoers were invited to watch the muralists complete their works during the festival. There were also an open graffiti space where people could create their own graffiti. Dutch-born Cambodian artist Riza said that he always wanted to do a mural and was happy to join this festival when Funky asked.
So I had these drawings made like this big first, and Funky saw it, and yeah, he wanted to have, he liked it very much and he wanted to have it on the wall. What I hope the festival will do, I would hope that it brings a spotlight on the art scene and to bring it up a bit, you know, for the Cambodia art culture. I hope it would encourage the kids to create art and to show them it is possible to also make a living out of it, you know, just, yeah.
Kam San Soo, an artist who is an alumnus of the Royal University of Fine Arts and who created his art based on traditional dance and looking into the past, added that he was looking forward to learning about art from other artists.
Usually at the festival, people tend to have fun, but I also want them to have fun and learn about the art from each artist and has to show. Like street arts from international artists are different from local artists. I want to learn and think about it.
YSK Mike wanted the people to see that local artists' works are comparable to international artists. His work is a mix of English and Khmer calligraphy, with the meaning of his artwork spelling out the name of the festival, Murals for Cambodia. Taking a closer look, YSK Mike showed the details of how he combined the Khmer letter Ga and the English letter A. He hoped that fairgoers would be inspired by the various art on display. For J.B. Carraro, he created the graphic design for Murals for Cambodia. It felt natural to him to create a mixed media design on the wall. He hoped that people would have fun at the festival and have more appreciation for the local graffiti and street art scene. On the side of the festival performances, Sam from 2M Dai hoped that attendees would enjoy the good music and art and feel the synergy between the two. He also debuted his new song Better Day at the festival. Speaking with some artists from Clap Your Hands, Siva said he was happy to support his friend and see a connection between his music and the art showcase at the festival.
I hope people would see what our hip-hop culture is. I hope people would get to see also how it's traveled far into Cambodia and mixed with the arts and the culture of Cambodia as well.
Sachita was also excited to be back performing live.
This festival is a really open event for people to come and see the arts from other artists, like from Cambodia or maybe outside of Cambodia. It's just like an exhibition and a collection of good artworks from the artists. And second, like, you know what, it's like I'm really excited to like finally come back to do the live performance here, like, you know, to see the crowd of people. But of course, we have to stay safe. Yes.
People and animals alike enjoyed the open space of art and concert. Sreimir, a cafe owner, came to the festival to support her friend who is one of the artists. She hopes that the people would give more value to artists in Cambodia so that there will be more development in the arts field. She can see that there is more support and understanding now. Moni, a program manager at Impact Hub, added that this festival opens up a whole new culture and community in Cambodia.
So far, I think it's really fun, really engaging. Seen a lot of people in the community, a lot of common friends. So I would say a place that I feel really warm. And I've seen some of the mural. Looks great, looks amazing. Love the artists. One more thing is that the idea of coming here to support local artists is also something that drives me.
Funky and FT Gallery expressed excitement for the future of Murals for Cambodia. After the festival, he is planning to visit a remote school with 25 students in Koh Kong to paint murals and hold workshops. He hopes to create a roadmap of tourism to find murals in Cambodia, as well as a documentary to showcase the beauty of the country. He said that he is hopeful that the community will take ownership of the murals when his team have left.
So the goal is to centralize, incubate art partners, brands, art lovers, collectors, and the people who loves art and loves to party in one place, and then decentralize the cultural attention that is like all in the capital, right? Because as you know, most of our country is the countryside. So I think the goal is really to redistribute, and also I think art is the best tool to create a bridge and break this barrier of social barriers and just show the beauty of Cambodia. Because once we'll go, for example, we go in Koh Kong right after this project, and it's to amplify also tourism in a different way, but through art, and try to inspire communities and be inspired by them, and vice versa. Yeah. We want to create a new narrative. As our generation, this is a new era, with all due respect, and everybody who paved the way for our culture and everything that happened in the past. I think our generation, 80% is under 30 years old, I think, in Cambodia. So it's a way, art is the best tool, a medium. We're like the tool of the medium, like us artists. And I want the youth to take ownership of their narrative through this type of project and be inspired by it.
Funky and FT Gallery created the Murals for Cambodia Festival in partnership with the Japan Foundation Asia Center, Jean-Baptiste Carraro, the Factory Phnom Penh, Urban Village Phnom Penh, DOS MTN Cambodia, Elliott Events, B-Side, Clap Your Hands, and Badamay Productions.
You can feel the bustling energy around here as the people appreciate the murals around the FT Gallery at the Factory Phnom Penh. Murals for Cambodia Festival is hoping to re-energize the street art appreciation. I'm Dekanin, EAC News.
Thank you for watching the Daily Roundup here on EAC News Channel. For more breaking news and updates, check the website eacnews.asia or search EAC News on Telegram or at your favourite app store. More from the EAC News team tomorrow night at 8 p.m. We'll see you then.